Zombies are reanimated corpses, brought back to life through various means such as magic, a virus, or scientific accidents, depending on the cultural or fictional context. Originating from Haitian Vodou beliefs, zombies were initially said to be corpses reanimated by shamans and Vodou priests for various purposes. In modern pop culture, zombies are often depicted as mindless creatures with an insatiable hunger for human flesh, particularly brains, and are a staple of horror fiction and movies, highlighting fears of contagion, loss of individuality, and the collapse of civilization. Trolls are beings from Norse and Scandinavian folklore, dwelling in isolated rocks, caves, or mountains. They are typically depicted as large, slow-witted, but sometimes cunning creatures, often hostile to humans. Trolls have become staple characters in many fantasy novels and films, with their traits varying widely across different interpretations.
I'm an ogre!
Ogres are monstrous and mythical creatures that originate from European folklore, particularly French and English tales. They are often characterized as large, fearsome, and hideously ugly beings, known for their voracious appetites, frequently for human flesh, especially that of infants and children. Ogres are usually solitary predators, dwelling in desolate places like abandoned castles or dense forests, away from human settlements. Harpies. In Greek mythology, harpies are winged spirits, often depicted as birds with the faces of women. They are known for stealing food and carrying evildoers to the Erinyes. The harpies were particularly associated with sudden, mysterious disappearances and were considered agents of punishment. Leshy, a Slavic forest spirit known for guiding or misleading travelers. Leshies are shapeshifters, often appearing as tall beings intertwined with woodland elements. They protect the forest and its creatures, sometimes playing tricks on humans who disrespect nature. Ghosts. Ghosts, also known as spirits or specters, are the souls or spirits of deceased persons or animals that are believed to appear to the living. In many cultures, ghosts are a manifestation of the dead who remain in the mortal realm rather than passing into the afterlife due to unfinished business, a desire for revenge, or the inability to find peace. Ghost stories are prevalent in folklore around the world, serving as cautionary tales, moral lessons, or simply spine-chilling narratives. Leprechauns are small fairy-like creatures from Irish folklore, often associated with pots of gold hidden at the end of rainbows. Known for their mischief, they are typically depicted as old men dressed in green cobbling shoes. Leprechauns are said to grant 3 wishes if caught by a human, but they often employ tricks to evade capture. The Mothman is a modern mythological creature stemming from American folklore, with its first reported sighting in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Described as a large winged humanoid with glowing red eyes, the Mothman has since become a part of cryptozoological lore, often associated with impending disasters. Dullahan. The Dullahan is a headless rider from Irish folklore, often seen as an omen of death. The creature rides a black horse and carries its head under one arm. The head's eyes are constantly moving, and the mouth is in a hideous grin that reaches both sides of the head. When the Dullahan stops riding, a person dies, and the Dullahan calls their name, drawing the soul away. No lock can keep it out, and it despises being watched, often throwing a basin of blood on those who do so. Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, is a creature from North American folklore, said to roam the forests, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. It is often described as a large, hairy, ape-like being, standing upright and leaving behind large footprints. Despite numerous sightings and footprints, conclusive evidence of Bigfoot's existence has yet to be found. Valkyries, known as choosers of the slain, are warrior maidens who serve Odin, the Allfather. They ride over battlefields on their horses, selecting those worthy of a place in Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain, where warriors prepare to aid the gods during Ragnarok. Valkyries are not only messengers of death, but also guides for the souls of heroes, embodying the themes of honor, destiny, and the valorous warrior ethos central to Norse culture. Rakshasas. Rakshasas are demonic beings from Hindu mythology with the power to shapeshift and possess magical abilities. They are known for their fierce nature and antagonism towards humans, including indulging in practices like cannibalism. However, some Rakshasas are also depicted as more complex characters, not purely evil, and capable of positive interactions with gods and humans. Manticore. The Manticore, with roots in Persian mythology, is a monstrous creature with the body of a lion, a human head with 3 rows of sharp teeth, and a tail tipped with venomous spines. The Manticore was said to devour its victims whole, leaving no traces behind, and its name means man-eater. Phoenix. The phoenix is a mythical bird known for its cycle of death and rebirth. Associated with fire and the sun, It is said to live for hundreds of years before dying in a burst of flames, only to rise again from its ashes. This enduring symbol represents renewal, immortality, and the eternal nature of life. Griffins. Griffins are mythical creatures with the body of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle. As the lion was traditionally considered the king of the beasts and the eagle the king of the birds, the griffin was thought to be an especially powerful and majestic creature. Griffins are known for guarding treasure and were believed to find and devour those who sought to steal hidden treasures. Sphinx. The Sphinx is a mythological creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human, often seen in Egyptian and Greek mythology. In Greek legend, the Sphinx is known for posing a riddle to travelers to allow them passage only if they could solve it. The most famous Sphinx is the Great Sphinx of Giza, a colossal statue that stands guard in front of the Great Pyramids in Egypt. Centaurs. Centaurs, creatures from Greek mythology, have the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. They embody the dual nature of man, blending the civilized aspect with untamed wildness. Centaurs are often depicted as wise and noble beings, though some tales describe them as wild and unruly. Poltergeists, from the German words poltern, to make sound, and geist, ghost, are spirits known for causing physical disturbances such as loud noises, objects being moved or destroyed, and even harm to living beings. Unlike traditional ghosts, poltergeists are often associated with a particular individual, known as the focus or agent, and are thought to be the manifestation of intense emotional stress or psychological factors. Kitsune. In Japanese folklore, kitsune are intelligent foxes with magical abilities, including the power to shapeshift into human form. They are often depicted as tricksters, with motives that vary from malevolent to benevolent. The number of tails a kitsune has, up to 9, indicates its age, wisdom, and power. Nymphs. Nymphs are minor female deities in Greek mythology, associated with various natural elements, such as trees, dryads, water bodies, naiads, mountains, oreads, and more. They are often depicted as beautiful maidens, embodying the vivacious qualities of nature, and are frequently found in the company of the gods, particularly Dionysus. Dragons are one of the most versatile and widely known mythological creatures, appearing in cultures around the world. In Western mythology, dragons are typically fire-breathing, winged beasts, hoarding treasure and battling heroes. In contrast, Eastern dragons, especially in Chinese culture, are seen as benevolent symbols of power, wisdom, and good fortune, often associated with water and rainfall. Banshees are female spirits from Irish mythology, known for their haunting wails that foretell the death of a family member. Traditionally considered to be omens of death and messengers from the otherworld, banshees possess a ghostly appearance and are deeply rooted in Celtic folklore. Golems. In Jewish folklore, a golem is an animated anthropomorphic being, magically created entirely from inanimate matter, typically clay or mud. The most famous golem narrative involves Rabbi Judah Loew ben Bezalel, the late 16th century rabbi of Prague, who created a golem to defend the Prague ghetto from anti-Semitic attacks and pogroms. The Kappa is a water demon in Japanese folklore that inhabits rivers and lakes and is known for challenging humans to sumo wrestling, with a penchant for polite behavior. They are depicted as humanoid creatures with the bodies of tortoises, beaked faces, and a water-filled depression atop their heads that is the source of their power. Their actions range from comparatively minor misdemeanors, such as looking up women's kimono if they venture too near to water, to outright malevolence, such as drowning people and animals, kidnapping children, raping women, and at times, eating human flesh. Baba Yaga, a complex figure from Slavic folklore, often depicted as a witch living in a hut on chicken legs. Baba Yaga is known for her ambiguous nature, capable of helping or hindering those who seek her out, depending on their worthiness and respect towards the mystical. Basilisk. The basilisk, known as the King of Serpents, is a legendary creature reputed to have the power to cause death with a single glance. Originating from European legends, it is described as a serpent with a crowned head, and in some descriptions, it possesses features of a cockerel and a dragon. Its gaze was said to be so lethal that it could not only kill but also petrify its victims. The roc is a gigantic bird in Arabian folklore, often described as large enough to carry off fully grown elephants. Tales of the roc appear in Arabian fairy tales and sailors' folklore, popularized in tales such as Sinbad the Sailor. The The rock is typically depicted as a symbol of power and dominance over the natural world. Vampires. Originating in European folklore, vampires are nocturnal creatures that feed on the blood of the living to sustain themselves. Often depicted as undead beings, they possess supernatural powers and weaknesses, such as an aversion to sunlight, garlic, and holy symbols. The legend of Dracula, popularized by Bram Stoker's novel, is one of the most famous vampire tales. Werewolves, also known as lycanthropes, are mythological humans with the ability to transform into wolves or wolf-like creatures, usually during a full moon. This transformation could be due to a curse or a bite from another werewolf. Stories of werewolves are prevalent in European folklore and often involve themes of uncontrollable rage, loss of humanity, and the duality of man. The Kraken is a legendary sea monster of gigantic size, said to dwell off the coasts of Norway and Greenland. Descriptions of the Kraken depicted as a giant octopus or squid, capable of dragging whole ships and their crews to a watery grave. The legend likely originated from sightings of real giant squids, magnified by sailors' tales. La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a ghost from Hispanic folklore, haunting riversides and crying for her drowned children. According to legend, she drowned her children in a fit of madness, and then, filled with grief, drowned herself. Denied entry to the afterlife until she finds her children, she is condemned to wander, weeping and causing misfortune to those who encounter her. Sirens. In Greek mythology, sirens are creatures with the head of a woman and the body of a bird. They are famed for their enchanting music and singing voices, which lured sailors to shipwreck on the rocky coast of their island. In later European folklore, sirens were often used as a synonym for mermaids and portrayed with upper human bodies and fishtails. Sirens symbolize dangerous temptation embodied by women. Draugrs. In Norse mythology, draugr are undead beings, often with superhuman strength and the ability to increase their size at will. They were believed to live in their graves, guarding the treasure buried with them, and could leave to wreak havoc among the living. Draugr possess several magical abilities, including shapeshifting and creating illusions. In more recent Scandinavian folklore, the draugr changed from beings living in their own graves and turned into ghosts of dead fishermen who had drifted at sea and who was not buried in Christian soil. Kelpies are shape-shifting water spirits from Scottish folklore, residing in lochs and rivers. They often appear as beautiful horses to lure individuals into riding on their backs, only to drag them into the water and drown them. Kelpies can also take human form, further tricking unsuspecting victims. The Wendigo is a malevolent, cannibalistic spirit from Algonquian folklore associated with the North American forests. It is often described as a gaunt, ghastly figure with an insatiable hunger for human flesh. Wendigo legends are thought to serve as a moral tale against greed and excess. The Hydra, from Greek mythology, was a serpentine water monster with multiple heads. When one head was cut off, two more would grow in its place, making the creature nearly impossible to kill. Hercules famously defeated the Hydra as one of his 12 labors by cauterizing the necks after decapitating each head to prevent them from regrowing. Gorgons are female creatures from Greek mythology, the most famous of which is Medusa. Gorgons had the power to turn anyone who looked directly at them into stone. Medusa, with her hair of living venomous snakes, was defeated by the hero Perseus, who used a mirrored shield to avoid direct eye contact and behead her. Jinn or genies. Originating from Middle Eastern and Islamic mythology, jinns are supernatural beings created from smokeless fire. They have free will, much like humans, and can be benevolent, malevolent, or neutral. Western culture popularized them as genies, magical entities that grant wishes when summoned, often with unintended consequences. The Yeti, also known as the abominable snowman, is a mythical creature said to inhabit the Himalayan regions of Nepal and Tibet. Descriptions depict it as a large, ape-like being, and it is considered by some to be a cousin of the North American Bigfoot. While there is little evidence of its existence, the Yeti remains a popular figure in folklore and mountaineering tales. Cerberus, the monstrous three-headed dog, guards the entrance to the underworld in Greek mythology, preventing the dead from leaving and the living from entering without permission. The offspring of Echidna and Typhon, Cerberus was captured by Hercules as one of his 12 labors. The Minotaur is a creature from Greek mythology with the body of a man and the head of a bull. It was born from the union of Pasiphae and a bull sent by the gods as a punishment to Minos, the king of Crete. The Minotaur was confined to the labyrinth designed by Daedalus, where it was eventually killed by the hero Theseus. Mermaids and their male counterparts, mermen, are legendary aquatic creatures with the upper body of a human and the tail of a fish. Tales of mermaids span many cultures, often portraying them as beautiful, enchanting beings that can be benevolent or malevolent. They are sometimes said to lure sailors to their deaths with their mesmerizing voices.